This series of warm-ups is for all Menezes Pilates DVDs. We're going to start with a standing roll down. When you're standing, make sure you're not standing on a mat, you're standing on a firm surface with your tripods engaged, knees softly bent, beeline engaged, squeeze the core, shoulder blades into the pocket, points of the elbows back, lengthening through the crown of the head, nose up. Take a breath in without moving, staying where you are, ocean breath out, just closing your rib cage so you can feel the rib cage doing the work. Deep breath in into the upper back and armpits, and ocean breath out. One more time, keep the beeline in, a little bit of a tuck, ocean breath out. This time take a breath in, roll the chin onto the chest, and breathing out, peel off an imaginary wall, one vertebra at a time. Going down as far as you comfortably can, let your hands hang to the floor, hold for the breath in, suck your beeline in, and use your beeline to come up, breathing out. Keep tucking when you're coming up, one bone at a time. Lengthen through the crown of the head, shoulder blades into the pocket. Take a breath in. Roll the chin forward again, breathing out. Press your spine into that imaginary wall, one bone at a time to go down. Remember, the wall takes the shape of your spine. It's not a flat wall. Relax at the bottom, taking a breath in. Relax your head. Use the beeline to come up, breathing out. Squeeze the core from halfway. Lengthen all the way up to the crown of the head. Breath in, one more time. Roll the chin forward, breathing out. Peel off the wall, rounding your spine, one bone at a time. Relax at the bottom. Take a breath in. Notice how far down you are when you're relaxing at the bottom so you can compare it at the end once you've finished your program. Keep tucking all the way upright and relax. This exercise is called the stamina stretch. Standing next to a wall, this can also be done in the door frame of a door, which is much better because you get a better stretch by hanging onto the door. But for these purposes, we're going to use a wall. Standing about hip distance away from the wall, the inside hand closest to the wall, the point of the elbow faces the body, and the hand is flat on the wall. The top hand goes over into what we first call a basic position with the fingers facing up at forehead level. So down a little bit more. Good. Take a breath in here. Breathe out. Stretch away from the wall. Turn the beeline and inside foot to the wall. Stretch away further. And then tuck. And then breathe into the top shoulder blade and armpit and ocean breath out. Slide the inside hand down the wall more because you don't want to hunch that shoulder or neck. Okay, keep tucking, keep stretching. So the formula here was ST. Stretch, turn, stretch, tuck. If you want to get more of a stretch into the upper part of the shoulder, the fingers can go backwards, so facing backwards for those of you who can get them backwards. And for those of you who are even more flexible, the fingers can go down to the floor and stretching away from the wall. That gives you much, much more rotation. You're not trying to arch your back here. By tucking, you're trying to actually stretch your lower back. So if you feel this in the spine near the center, turn your beeline more towards the wall. And then stretch more and then tuck more. One more breath. If you feel your neck, you can look down to your foot, so turn the nose to the floor. When you're coming up out of this, squeeze your core and breathe in to come up and relax the arms. And then if you do a comparison stretch or comparison breath, take a deep breath in and notice the difference in the lung on the side you just stretched. Let's turn around and face the other way. So the inside hand is down, touching the wall. The top hand goes over to your preferred position. Stretch, turn the beeline and inside foot to the wall, stretch out further, and tuck. And keep breathing into the top shoulder blade. If the outside knee bends, that's fine if it allows you to get more tuck. Keep lengthening the crown of the head towards the wall, slide the bottom hand down the wall more, and it can even come off the wall, so there's no reason why it should be on the wall. Turn the top elbow up to the ceiling, without arching the back too much, so you're still tucking. Breathing into the top shoulder blade as if someone had their hand on that shoulder blade and you were breathing into their hand. Remember, if you feel your neck, turn your nose to the floor, and that'll take any tension out of the neck. Keep turning the top elbow up to the ceiling and the bottom shoulder forward, which will give you much more of a stretch into the lateral side that you're now stretching. One more breath. Squeeze the core and breathe in to come up. And relax the arms. The next part of the warm-up is the start stretches. So the first one is diamond. So if you bring your legs up into diamond position, the important thing here is not to bring your feet all the way up into your groin, because you'll feel like you're going to fall backwards. You want to be able to sit as tall as you can on your sit bones very comfortably. If this is not comfortable, you can sit on a towel or on an elevated pad, which makes it much more comfortable for the hip joints. We're going to start by taking the arms up into the air. Place the hands down the back between the shoulder blades, but not crossed over. The biceps are close to the ears. Take a breath in. Breathe out and curl as if you're curling over a beach ball. Your last rib stays against an imaginary wall. Take a breath in into the armpits. Ocean breath out, curling down. Breathing out, curling down. And hold that position and keep breathing in that position. Deep breath in through the nose. Ocean breath out. Every time you breathe out, you're curling down a little bit more, but keeping the chin off the chest, otherwise you will feel the neck. And also keep your shoulder blades down into the pocket, otherwise the shoulders will hunch. If you find this is uncomfortable on the neck, you can bring your elbows forward down towards the floor. That'll make it a lot more comfortable. If that is still uncomfortable for certain people, you can cross the hands across the chest in front of you, and that makes it a little bit easier on the neck. The legs are flopped to the floor, so just relax them totally. Some people don't realize how tight those knees are until they say flop. And then one more breath. Squeeze the core, breathing in to come up, reach the hands up to the ceiling, and relax the hands by the sides. Straighten up the legs in front of you, keeping the ankle bones together, flex the feet, both arms up into the air, hands down the back again, and curling in again as before. Scooping the abdominals, leaning a bit slightly forward on this one. So if you feel your hamstrings are very tight, bend your knees slightly so that you can keep your back upright. And then curl in with the feet still flexed. So you can bend the knees as much as you like, as long as you feel more stretch in the back. You will feel this in the lower back or across the shoulder blades, probably about a 4 or a 5 out of 10, using the scales that we've got, which are called the safety scales. You want to work up to an 8 out of 10, which is a very strong, comfortable stretch. This will be about a 4 or 5 out of 10. Keep the toes together. Keep the beeline scooped in, shoulder blades into the pocket. Squeeze the core and breathe in to come up, reaching the hands to the ceiling, chin up, relaxing the hands by the sides. This time, take one leg out to the edge of the mat, bend the other foot to knee level. Once again, don't bring the heel all the way up into the groin because it will actually restrict your rotation on this exercise. The extended foot is flexed. Take both arms up into the air as tall as you can. Turn past your bent knee as much as you can, keeping your left hip on the ground. Reach over, grab the foot with the left hand, and place the right hand between the shoulder blades, looking to the side. So if you can't reach your toe, you can grab the ankle. Every time you breathe out, flop further down, turning your nose up to the ceiling. So you should feel this in the side or in the hamstring or both. Once again, if the hamstring is much, much tighter, bend the knee so that you can actually feel it more up the side and a little bit in the hamstring as well. You're trying to corkscrew up to the ceiling at the same time so the top shoulder blade goes back, keeping the elbow lengthening towards your long toes. So keeping the bicep close to your ear, fingers down your back as much as you can. A common mistake here is that people take the elbow up to the ceiling and that will reduce the stretch. Keep lengthening through the crown of the head, grabbing the toe if you can. One more breath. Stay where you are, take a breath in, breathe out, extend both arms, and curling upright, breathing in. Relax your arms, and change sides. Both arms up into the air, tall as you can. Turn past your bent knee, reach over, grab the foot with the hand, top hand between the shoulder blade, and breathing out to go down. Again, keeping your beeline in, bicep close to the ear, nose to the ceiling. And flop down. You're trying to bring the bottom armpit towards your knee. So once you get a good comfortable grip on the toe, you can bend that elbow to pull yourself further down. Keep pressing both knees to the floor unless the extended knee is really tight and you need to bend it. So do whatever you can that's comfortable. Keep the beeline in all the time, lengthening the crown of the head towards the toe and the tip of the top elbow. One more breath. Stay where you are, take a breath in, breathe out, extend the top hand parallel to the bottom hand, and squeeze your core, breathe in to curl up, and relax the arms. Next one is the quadriceps stretch, so kneeling upright, One leg up and one foot on the ground. Place your left hand on your left buttock, the right hand on your pubic bone. Lean forward slightly with the torso, not the hips. So leaning from the hips forward, that's it. And take a breath in and tuck. Press your buttock down, pull your pubic bone up. So it's not a thrust, it's not a lunge, it's a rotation of the pelvis. Keep leaning forward from the torso so that you can actually stretch the lower back out. So your nose is actually facing down to the floor. Make sure that the heel is below the knee of the supporting leg. If you need more of a stretch here, you can raise the back leg by putting it up against a wall, just making sure that you've got good padding underneath the knee, or it can go up just onto a foam roller or onto a higher cushion. This will increase the stretch tremendously. You need to get a 9 out of 10 stretch here, which is a borderline pain, because you want that stretch on the quadricep. You do not want any pressure in the knee joint, so any discomfort in the knee, stop the exercise or put more padding underneath the knee. Keep squeezing the core, elbows down to the floor, and your eye gaze is down to the top of the mat. 2 more breaths. Keep tucking on every breath out further and further so you feel the stretch up the thigh. And coming upright and change legs. So right hand, right buttock, left hand pubic bone. Make sure the heel is directly below the knee at all times. Take a breath in, leaning forward from the torso, from the hips, and breathe out and tuck. Press the buttock down, pull the pubic bone up. Remember, this is not a lunge. You're not trying to get your hips forward. You're not going to get your knee further past your heel. If this isn't strong enough on the quadricep, you can raise the foot up against a wall, making sure there's pressure, that there's a pad underneath the knee so there's no pressure on the knee. So it can go up against a wall or on a foam roller or on a cushion to elevate the foot, which will stretch the quadricep more. Deep, deep breaths, elbows to the floor, and you're using that back hand to press down to the floor and the front hand to pull up without arching the back, which is why you've got the lean forward so you don't feel any pressure in the back. Shoulder blades relax down into the pocket, squeezing the core. 2 more breaths. Keep the breathing flowing, so there's no holding of the breath at any point. Squeeze the core so you can work the lateral muscles of the torso. And ocean breath out and relax. Next exercise is the hamstring stretch. So cushion underneath the head, do the offering to lengthen out the spine. The knees are at a right angle. Take one leg up into the air and bring it back towards your body. And if you can hold on to it with both hands without hunching your shoulders, do so. Otherwise, bend the knee slightly to bring it back towards you. Flex the foot. And keeping the knee locked in that position, ocean breath out to draw the leg towards your shoulder. Bending the elbows slightly up so you can breathe into your armpits. Keep the foot flexed so you can get the stretch all the way through the back of the leg. Every time you breathe out, you're bringing back the leg a little bit more each time without bending the knee too much. A 15-degree bend is sufficient. Keep pressing the hip into the floor of that same leg you're stretching so the hip does not come off the floor. Keep a tripod on your left foot so the knee doesn't drop open. Elbows are still slightly up so you can breathe into your armpits. Every so often in this position, you might feel that your shoulders are overworking, so just flop the head from side to side to do a neck check so that your neck is relaxed while your shoulders are under strain. Keep flexing the foot. Keep the foot locked in that position. The leg will shake a little bit in some cases if the muscle is too tight. Keep the core squeezed. Keep the breathing going. 2 more breaths. And relax and change legs. Taking the other leg up into the air. Reach and hold on to the leg. Flex the foot. Bend the knee slightly, 15 degrees. And interlock the fingers, draw the leg back towards you. Making sure that the thumbs are always at the back of the leg. Keep breathing. Flex the foot. Tripod on the other foot so the knee doesn't drop open. Squeezing your core. Keep pressing the hip into the floor as well. That will give you an increased stretch into the hamstring. If you're feeling it tremendously behind the knee, you don't need to flex the foot. It can stay relaxed. Remember, the thumbs are in the back of the leg, because if the thumbs are on the front of the leg, they're actually giving your brain a signal to push the leg away from you. Keep bending the elbows slightly each time to draw back towards your shoulder, keeping the leg in line with your shoulder, not cutting across the body towards your nose. Shoulder blades into the pocket, and the occasional neck check. 2 more breaths. And relax. The next exercise is the side blasts. So the arm underneath the head is palm up. The legs are one on top of the other. The top hand is on the floor at waist level. Start with a tuck. Keep the feet flexed. Take a breath in to start, and a blast to lift. Good. Try and keep the hips stacked on top of each other. Do not rest in between, so you're going almost all the way down and straight back up again without resting. Keep the head relaxed on the arm. Keep tucking all the time, keeping the ankles together. Put more of a blast to lift the legs. Make sure that this blast breath starts slightly before the movement. For the last 4, we're going to take the top leg forward of the bottom leg, other way around. Take a breath in to start, and blast. Good. This is a more advanced version. Eventually, you want to stay on your fingertips and not with the flat palm on your hand. And the next version up from there is to take your hand off the floor, put it in top position, and we'll get to that one eventually. And relax. Change sides. Both legs stacked on top of each other, legs at 45 degrees. The hand at waist level on the floor, the other hand is palm up. Take a breath in, tuck the pelvis, and blast. Remember, the definition of a blast breath is all the air out in less than a quarter second. So it's got to be short and sharp. The top arm will do a lot of work, but don't worry, that will get easier, and eventually you'll go on the fingertips, and then the hand goes behind the head in top position with the elbow forward. One more, and then we're going to take the top leg forward of the bottom leg and keep going with the blast breath. This is much tougher, not as easy as it looks. And 2 more. Keep tucking, keep the head and arm relaxed, and relax. We hope you enjoyed this series of warm-ups. Please stick to them. They're very, very vital in order for you to get warmed up before you start your routines, which is why we have not included them in the rest of the routines, but they're to do every single day, even just as a warm-up if you're not doing any exercises.